Here's a sneak peek from today's episode.
If the Coca-Cola advertisements were done by a B2B marketer, it would sound something like, it's a brownie fizzy drink with a lot of sugar in it. And then he did a pause. Oh, I think the whole audience felt it, or it's just me. I had a moment of realization. We've been looking at it all wrong.
Welcome to the Content Amplified podcast, brought to you by Masset. Our goal is to help you get more from your marketing content. Each episode is a 10 to 15 minute interview with industry experts that share amazing insights to help you squeeze as much juice from your content as you possibly can. Here's today's interview.
Welcome back to another episode of Content Amplified. Today I'm joined by Vikram. Vikram, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ben. Nice to see you here again. Thank you for having me over.
Vikram, I'm excited. You have one of the coolest stories I've ever heard when it comes to B2B marketing, and I'm excited to dive in. But before we do that, let's get to know you. Let's let the audience kind of understand your background and a little bit about who you are.
Sure. So I'm Vikram Maram. I lead product and growth at this company called SMARTe. We are a sales intelligence platform. So yeah, I would still probably not call myself a marketer yet. I'm still learning marketing. So please keep your guns down for anything I'm going to say today. I'm still learning because I come from a builder mindset, because I've been doing a lot of product building for almost like 10, 15 years now. Yeah, AI and new stuff gives me an edge to, play a better role in marketing now. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts, I'm excited to jump into. So yeah, my focus has been around B2B SaaS, working in sales tech and MarTech space, and, building products. And I spend a lot of time talking to the customers. And then, so I definitely think I have a perspective of what people are thinking about when they're, buying, selling, and looking at our assets, looking at our website. So yeah, let's jump into it.
I love it. That's amazing. So you told me this story about how you went to a conference and heard something that forever changed your mindset about B2B brands. Do you mind sharing that story?
Absolutely. I love to talk about it because that was a moment I really felt I understand what every one of us is doing wrong. And not my story. I heard it at a conference in SF. So I'll tell you about it. So there was this slide, one of these marketers put up there and said, hey guys, if the Coca-Cola advertisements were done by a B2B marketer, it would sound something like, it's a brownie fizzy drink with a lot of sugar in it. And then he did a pause. Oh, I think the whole audience felt it, or it's just me. I had a moment of realization. Oh, we've been looking at it all wrong, right? Because I think, I don't know, it's because of the enterprise selling, the hoops and loops that leaves a residue on marketers in B2B space, or it's just we're not as fun as the B2C side of the world, or like other brand marketers. We tend to focus too much on the features and what we have built, what we want to project, rather than what we are solving. We don't lead by value, if I may say so. And yeah, if a soda can be so good at positioning itself with a value which is like highly commoditized, I'm sure all of us can do a great job because we are solving real problems, and problems people will pay for in an ongoing way.
I love that. This is one of the coolest stories. As soon as you told me this story, I had that same aha moment where I was like, wow, I have been looking at things a little bit wrong, and here are some opportunities to improve. So how has that changed your efforts when it comes to looking at B2B brands and sharing things with outside audiences? How has that really impacted what you do?
Yeah, I think in one way to look at it is probably the word count on my website on all of our assets went down by 50% or lower. Just starting to see that, hey, I'm putting so much effort on detailing all these features and then throw in conditions and stuff like that, where what I really want this to be about is, hey, what are you taking the value out of? Maybe if I can throw in an example, not to plug in our product, but
Share
one of
away.
the
We want to
challenges,
hear about it. Yeah.
right? As a data company, as a signals company, I can come and tell you, hey, I have a lot of mobile numbers. I have a lot of work emails and stuff like that. But if I can talk about, we've helped a customer improve their connect rate by 2x or their response rate by 3x. I'm just making up these numbers, not a promotion. But the idea is that, hey, if I can tell them the outcome and the value, and then probably they will start talking to you about, hey, but this is not how I'm evaluating you guys. This is not the metrics with which I'm looking at you. I have a different metric. You learn in those conversations, but it's going to be an evolving process where you're looking at things your customers value about than the things you're proud of because you've built them. I think that's moment for me there.
I love that. That's so cool. So, when you're cutting down the content in half, I love this idea that you're really focusing on the problems and things like that. One of the cool things you said is you spend a lot of time talking to the customers. In those conversations, how are you finding either those statements or the problems that you're solving? And how are you extracting that and bringing that back into your marketing and your brand?
Yeah. So I have this unique advantage because I sit between product, business, and I own growth, marketing, a bunch of things. Small company, you get to have
Lots of hats.
a lot of fun, right? Uh, One thing is when you're sitting in these calls, you could probably attend like 10, 15 calls a month, not more than that, because you have to do a lot of other things. It gives you a perspective on when you go ask them, hey, how are you going to evaluate us? Right. And what are your pain points? And not all answers are, clear and straightforward. Sometimes you develop a knack of asking those questions that, you get better answers. And you can see, hey, this is a problem statement that there is a support group around it. And then you want to tap the support group, right? That's all I think most of B2B marketing is. And then you get that. I also have another hack. I think people might find it effective. It's very effective for me. I'll tell you. Because we serve a lot of RevOps groups, I go in and I join these RevOps communities in Slack and places like that. And then I put up some alerts that mention my product, my competition, or anybody in the space. And I'm not gonna, go pitch my product or anything there. I'm just listening. I get a notification every time somebody mentions Zoom Info or Smart or anybody else, and then you start thinking, hey, people are talking about how do I use multiple data vendors together? How do I evaluate a data vendor? And then you suddenly start to see a pattern, which will probably turn into a good input for your content marketing because you're hearing it directly from the horse's mouth, and people are talking about it and scale. This model really helped me because it gives me a scale. If a community or a group in Slack is very active, you could get 10, 15 a month, a week, which is at scale. And then you'll build a good perspective about your customers, your audience, your prospects. And that has been working well for me, like, more than getting on the calls because, you need scale sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love this. So you're getting all these good insights and you have this whole different frame of reference in mind where you're looking at the Coca-Cola example, you're thinking more B2C. How do I explain in better terms instead of saying this is the brown fizzy water with sugar in it and you're kind of changing that around. How are you kind of, I don't want to say enforcing, but how are you helping the rest of the organization follow some of this as well? Because let's be honest, B2B, we have it firmly ingrained in ourselves that it's kind of, we talk about ourselves in a certain way. How have you kind of found like teachable opportunities to help the team follow this model?
No, absolutely. So what I tend to see with my marketing team and the people I've worked with over years that they resist the complexity or the nuances of B2B, and then they try to get the job done with beautiful fluff. Very beautifully written, but it's fluff. And the challenge with this fluff is you can't find fault with it. It's factually true. So I can't go tell them, hey, this is false. But is it hitting the goal for me? Is it giving me that aha moment? No. At least one thumb rule I kept with my marketing team is if there is a piece of text, I can copy that and paste it on my competitor's website or anybody in the space. If I can put it on their website, I don't want it.
Mm,
I want the whole narrative, all references around our USPs, our tone, what we bring to the table, than something which would just be applicable for any sales intelligence company. For starters, it helped. And I think later I think when you have opinions in a team and when you sit down and talk about each other's opinions and then we pick one and saying, hey, this is an opinion we want to drive, but in the subtle way of B2B style, let me put it that way. That's, I think, the second thing that really helped us to get on the same plane. And then it might work, might not work, but as a team we are together in it, and
I
we're
love
trying to
that.
put our best effort. It's an experiment at the end of the day, right? You don't know what works until it works.
Yeah, I love that. I 100% love that. And I love this concept. If we could take some copy from our website, put it on any other website, and you couldn't tell it was not us, that probably shouldn't have a place. Like if our story isn't so thoroughly ingrained in our copy, it's probably not the right thing. So I want to shift gears just slightly. where you can't go more than 5 seconds before you hear the word AI nowadays. When it comes to this philosophy and how you manage your content, especially with this different perspective, is AI making the problem worse? Is it making it better? Have you
Yeah.
found it to be helpful? How have you trained AI to kind of help you think like this? What have you kind of done with that to kind of aid in this process?
Yeah. Interestingly, we spent quite a few minutes without bringing up AI. So that's something.
We went 10 minutes without saying
Yeah.
it once. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. AI and how is it helping and how it is not. So the first goal we've had, right? So like everybody, we started using ChatGPT or Claude and one of them, where our content writers would throw in their raw ideas, put in their style, and then copy paste and go through the whole iteration. And it got in some level of productivity. We all can't deny that, but it helped. But we then hit a plateau and said, hey, can we do more? We are a small company, we are bootstrapped. So we are always hungry to do more in every department, right? So, and then we said, okay, let's go try this thing called NI10, which can help you build automations. And then they have connectors and stuff like that. I'm a product guy, so I bring that to the table all the time. But the fun thing is my marketing lead, who has never done a line of coding or anything technical in his life, has built this beautiful workflow. I don't want to use any other word than the beautiful because it started with a form that said, hey, what do you want the blog about? The questions he had identified. And pretty soon he realized that it's not a one shot problem where I send a request to an LLM and it comes back with an answer. He has created 4 agents in a row. One of them is talking about what structure do I want this article to be? What metadata I want to find? What references make sense? Like just the way an SEO guy probably looks at a piece of blog and says, okay, this is what I think this is missing. I want to add this twist or add these things. And then a content person who put their love and heart into it, it breaks them a little, but they say, okay, fine, I'm going to make some adjustments too so that it gets through you, right? All these things were orchestrated with a couple of agents within an ident. And I know agent sounds very fancy, but I would encourage every marketer to go sign up in some tool like an I10, Writer, Zapier, whatever you love, and just make it a task to build one agent. It's the simplest thing on the earth because you've always been prompting. You know this game. It's just that you need to see it in a different perspective. And then the final beautiful thing is the outcome of this workflow is that a blog article is put in a draft mode on the Webflow where one has to just review, check everything, and then publish. And when you start doing this, you're not just thinking about writing the body of the blog. You're thinking about, oh, what is the fastest way to find those hyperlinks? What are the other things I need to connect it so that I build that multi-step energy synergy between my blogs? And now they are thinking about, can I automate image creation using another model? Because that's another task, that's slowing the system
Yeah.
right now. I know we have a long way to go where I'll say that, hey, we've automated this and scaled it to 100x, but I see hope. I'm loving it. I love what we're doing. And yeah, in content, it's just that we have to get out this mindset that one shot prompting is not how it's going to work. You need to look at it like a structure. You need to look at it like a team of people coming together to get an output. And you bring that mindset, I think you can make AI do some wonders, if not everything. Yeah.
I love that. That's incredible. And I love this perspective because it's interesting. A lot of people do talk to you, let's go back even just to the Claudes and the Chat GPTs. Everyone talks about, okay, great. You're going to tell the AI what role it takes on, what its expertise is, all that kind of stuff. And then you're going to have it do something. What I love is that you've kind of taken that to 3, 4, or 5 degrees to say, okay, you're a content writer, you're an SEO expert. You've given it all of these different lenses to say, great, let's pass this off and go through this process. And I think that can improve a lot of our prompting to say, great, let's write a piece of content together. Now I get it. Okay, great. Now I want you to put a different hat on. Now let's edit. Now let's put another hat on. And once you find that process, I love that you can use NAN or Zapier or Make or whatever, and you can kind of automate that process over and over and over again. That's super cool.
And one thing that really helped us evolve in this process was also that don't hesitate to draw boundaries to these LLMs. You tell it because you know what works for your business. It's going to look at the average sum of everything it read on the internet or training data and give you an answer. It's compute power. Think of it as a compute power when you put those guardrails. So our prompts are like 1 page long for each of these action because you're trying to say, hey, don't do this, don't do this. We like it, do this. Maybe we're not tapping on the creative potential of the LLM, but if you want to scale it, you don't want to do that because it will throw bazooka things at you. So you don't want to do that. You want it to have those guardrails and then say, now scale, because I'm gonna operate with those levers and get the output I want. Yeah, I think that's something I'll definitely want to leave people with.
I love that. That's great insights. Well, Vikram, this has been amazing. I have absolutely loved this. As promised, these conversations go by quick. We have already run out of time. But for anyone who wants to reach out and connect with you online, how and where can they find you?
LinkedIn, the best place for B2B folks, I believe. So yeah, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd love to, get in a conversation, learn a few things from others and get going.
Love it. For anyone listening, scroll down to the show notes. We will link directly to Vikram's LinkedIn profile. Vikram, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I really, really do appreciate your insights.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Ben. You have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Content Amplified podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a review. And for additional ways to get more out of your content, visit our website at getmasset.com. That's getmasset.com. And tune in next time to the Content Amplified podcast.